Welcome to the Natural Health Podcast, where we bring awareness of sustainable health in the business hustle space. The Natural Health Podcast is perfect for the high-performing, business-minded individuals who want to work with their biochemistry to achieve optimal health. It's Wednesdays, which means it's time for What Would I Do? In today's episode of the Natural Health Podcast, we discuss this week's questions. All questions are kept confidential. I read them and answer them as if it was me, hence why it is called What Would I Do? The information provided is not to be taken as advice. It is solely for information purposes only. I am not here to cure, treat, or provide medical advice. I'm here to educate and inform you so you're able to take steps towards optimal health. Please discuss any medical issues with your healthcare professionals and if you're going to do any changes with your lifestyle, medication, and so forth. Let's get into today's question. So I am so happy today's questions came out because there's a number of individuals who this is going to help. Okay, so today's question is, are there any superfoods or vitamins one can take when being diagnosed with prostate cancer to slow the growth of the tumor or even shrink the size? Okay, so that is an absolutely amazing question. It's clearly not good news to hear that an individual has prostate cancer. However, the good news is there are so many things that can be done. As I said earlier, please talk to your medical healthcare professional before you do any changes. This is just for information purposes only. All right, so let's first look into what is prostate cancer for those individuals that have no idea what prostate cancer is. Well, first of all, it is males. Males mainly get it because, well, mostly males get it because they have a prostate, and females do not have a prostate, right? So prostate cancer occurs when abnormal cell growth is developed in the prostate. These abnormal cells can contribute to multiple in an uncontrollable way and sometimes spread outside the prostate to nearby distance part of the body. Okay, so prostate cancer is generally a slow growing disease, and the majority of men with low-grade prostate cancer live for many years without symptoms and without it spreading and being life-threatening. So this is good news for an individual who has been diagnosed with prostate cancer because it is a slow growth cancer. Only men have a prostate. It is a small gland that sits below the bladder near the rectum, and it surrounds the urethra, the passage in the penis through which urine and semen passes. The prostate gland is part of the male reproductive system and produces most of the fluid that makes up semen and enriches sperm. The prostate needs male hormone testosterone to grow and develop. Okay, so that essentially is, in a little snapshot, what prostate cancer is. So what are the risk factors of prostate cancer? So why does an individual get prostate cancer and the other one doesn't? Well, there's a number of things such as age, family history, genetics, diet, lifestyle. So as you can see, diet and lifestyle is in there, which means that can be played around with to ensure that you don't get it or to ensure that it slows down the process. So it is directly diagnosed with blood test prostate specific antigens and via a digital rectum examination. A biopsy is done then, which gives a firm diagnosis. So for any individuals who have any issues, please get these checked out because it is serious. This is serious. So let's have a look at men's health overall. What affects men's health? It is a little bit different to women's, and this is why I wanted to bring this up. What affects men's health? So hormone imbalance, other hormones imbalanced, oxidative damage, immune suppression, inability to manage stress, environmental factors, nutrient deficiencies, but also access, side effects of other medications. So this individual may be on other medications, inflammation, endothelial dysfunction, and toxicity. So these are all the things that can go wrong in a man's health for them to develop prostate cancer. So in regards to specific to prostate cancer, what I found is there are certain things that aggravate it and make it grow, I believe, or are susceptible to it, such as a diet high in saturated fats and milk products seem to increase the risk. Okay, and this is done by scientific study, this research, right? Whole milk consumption after a diagnosis of prostate cancer has been linked to an increased risk of reoccurrence, especially in overweight men. This was another research that found that. Lower vitamin D levels may increase the risk of developing prostate cancer. Vitamin D. Red meat and processed meats also appear to have little effect overall, but some studies suggest increased meat consumption is associated with a higher risk. So you have there saturated fats and milk products, right? Whole milk consumption, so milk overall, low vitamin D levels, red meat and processed meats that may be associated directly linked to prostate cancer. Okay. On another level, I thought I would include this in there. So also risk factors, what can occur? Why are these individuals getting prostate cancer? That it may, spiritually speaking, it may be a direct result of a fear of abandonment, rejection, or losing your repurpose. Okay. For some reason, your masculinity and what you stand for may have been challenged by your circumstances. You feel disconnected. You feel disconnected from your life purpose or have trouble setting goals. You want to be yourself, yet you seem to feel restricted by outside influences. Another one which I found very interesting is trauma relating to losing your masculine power, especially if you have lost your job, got a divorce, or lost someone. Or you can't reach a goal. So that is the connection in regards to emotionally why individuals may be getting prostate cancer. It's very interesting. That is definitely something that I would question myself if this was me who was going through this. Where has my masculinity been questioned? Where has what has happened in my life emotionally, and what can I release emotionally? Okay. So the question asked particular superfoods or vitamins or minerals that can shrink or slow the progress of the prostate cancer. Okay. So I want you to know, please talk to your medical healthcare professional. This is not advice. Okay. This is just something that I have gathered information from, and I'm providing you this information. Okay. So there's a research study that looked at dairy products. So, your question was, what can I put into my diet? My question is, what can we remove out of the diet? Okay. So dairy products. So Western diet rich in milk and dairy, animal fat and sugars with high calcium content is also connected to the risk growth, okay, of prostate cancer. Greater per capita milk consumption and probably correlated with higher prostate cancer incidence and mortality according to the World Cancer Research Foundation 2017. So they did this ages ago. In conclusion, according to the analysis of the available information, it is possible to establish a relationship between the consumption of dairy products and the progression of prostate cancer, and possibly its initiation, and should therefore be reduced or minimized in diet of men. Okay. So removing dairy products, a key. Another one is zinc, okay? Zinc, the role of zinc in prostate cancer pathogenesis has not been known fully, okay, But there is evidence to suggest that zinc can inhibit energy production, growth, and proliferation in normal prostate cells and suppress these prostate cancer cells. Okay, zinc, absolutely amazing. Another one, so I've got 3. So removing dairy, introducing zinc foods, zinc, and tomato-based products. Tomatoes and tomato-based products contain lycopene, which prevent DNA damage and overproliferation of normal prostate cells. In conclusion, this study found that the data demonstrated that high lycopene concentration is associated with a lower risk of prostate cancer. Further studies are required to determine how this occurs and how this happens. Okay, so that's an interesting point there. Tomato-based products, who would have thought, right? So some of the questions that I would ask myself, all right, that I would ask myself if this was occurred to me: what does my lifestyle look like? What does my diet look like? How are my emotions? Are my emotions all good? Am I drinking or am I smoking? Have I had or am I having any toxic exposure? What was my current job? What is my current job? Or what was my previous job? Was I exposed to any toxins? How is my exercises? Am I exercising? How is my weight? Am I overweight? How is my omega-3 to 6 ratio? How is my intake of zinc? How is my intake of dairy products? These are the questions that I would ask myself before I would do anything, and answer those questions to get an understanding of where I am sitting. Now, what would I do? What would I do if I was in this position? Before adding anything, I would remove my lifestyle. I would make it as simple as possible. I would make things simple, because then they're going to be sustainable, right? I would have food that is free as possible from pesticides and other herbicides, meaning I would eat organic, only organic diet. I would only have organic fruit, vegetables, anything that comes into my body needs to be organic. I would reduce my carbohydrates intake and I would increase my vegetable proteins and also my vegetables overall. I would increase consumption of increased consumption of saturated fats promotes prostate growth in mice, which means I would reduce my intake of saturated fats. I would look at my omega-6 to 3 ratio because high levels of omega-6 has been directly linked to prostate cancer. I would avoid coffee, avoid alcohol, avoid plastic use. I would increase zinc-rich foods such as pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds. I would increase my intake of vegetables, especially green vegetables. I would eat a whole rainbow diet. I would use filtered water. I would have fresh air. I would exercise and I would release my emotions. Okay, there you have it. I went a little bit over 10 minutes, but that is where I would start and that is what I would do if I was exposed to something like this. Okay, I hope this shed some light to your question and anyone listening who may have this issue. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me at mihaela.raguz on Instagram and I'll be in touch with you, hopefully to able to answer your question via this podcast. Remember, you are not alone in this journey to optimal health. I'm here to assist you and make your journey a pleasant one. Until next Wednesday, love you.